also joined live from Kyiv now by Sophia Fedyna. She's a Ukrainian member of parliament. Sophia, good to see you. Good to see you once again here on our coverage. I am so sorry to be speaking to you at such a difficult time for you and your country, but it is of great value to us to put your voice on air so the world can see it. And I can tell you, the world is watching India today. Your voice is being heard. What is the current situation? We're seeing images of damage and destruction in Kyiv. Your president says Russian forces have entered the city. Sophia.
I would say that officially Russian forces had not entered the city. We know about some groups that entered the city, but I think that every man or every woman in our city, including the members of the parliament, are going to do everything to neutralize them, or better to say, to kill all those who came to kill Ukrainians. These are diversion groups that are aimed to make different troubles. But if we talk about the army columns, there are no army columns in Kyiv. We know about the tank column and another technique that is several dozens kilometers from Kyiv. But now our army is trying to fight them. As well, I've heard that you were talking about this big airport in which they want to settle the airborne forces. I would like to inform that this airport is not existing anymore. During the fights, the coverage of the line was totally destroyed. So it is not impossible to any Moscow plane to land at that point. Yeah. And that was one of the tasks of the Ukrainian army. In Kyiv right now, I'm almost in a bomb shelter. Therefore, in any minute, I can switch off. A few minutes ago, we've heard a heavy shelling, a heavy sounds, kind of bombing. But at the moment, we hope that this Ukrainian anti-aircraft system was working. As we know, at 4 a.m. in the morning, there was attack over Kyiv, but our anti-aircraft system protected Kyiv citizens, and this Moscovian aircraft was destroyed. Also, we know that several cities and towns that yesterday were taken over by Moscow Federation, yes. They even managed to put Moscow flags over there. They were liberated by Ukrainian army. I may say that yesterday it was a big first shock about the scale of attack, especially on military airports and military storages. But now our army is getting ready. And of course, I would say yesterday, I was shocked with the number of people first who came to sign a contract to territorial defense forces, and they got weapon immediately, and not only automatic weapon, but much more important stuff to kill the enemy. But also I was shocked with the number of people who yes. came to give their blood to the hospitals, as we have quite many wounded people right now. And that is one of my requests to you as a friendly country, the country that cares, and the country whose pharmacy is on the highest top level. We would need a lot of medicine, a lot of blood clots, a lot of blood-stopping stuff, a lot of antibiotics yes. to save our soldiers and civilians who today protect Ukraine. I know that from many countries of the world, already we get humanitarian aid, and they are already approaching Ukrainian border, especially from the Polish side. Also, I would like having the possibility to thank all those people who came to Moscow embassies and who protested against Moscow invasion in Ukraine. We have to understand that Ukraine needs not only weapon support, not only solidarity in this defense war, but also we need psychological warfare against Moscow Federation. And we need also to punish aggressor, because if several years ago it was on the world level kind of a discussion who is guilty, who belongs to him, now we definitely see that Moscow army as an enemy invaded Ukraine, invaded from all the sides, and like the worst possible terrorists, they are killing peaceful Ukrainians who want just to live on their own land. I know that India knows what is the fight for independence. And I ask all the Indian politicians, not to count on some kind of Moscow interest, but to take into account the necessity to protect human rights, peace, and sovereignty of democratic countries. We really count on you.
Sophia, I hear your voice. Millions are hearing your voice right now. It feels useless for me to sit here, completely in a peaceful country and say, I hope you stay safe. It seems so inadequate. But, I salute you and I salute your strength. I salute the strength of people like you in a country at war. You're inside a bomb shelter right now. You're a member of parliament, Sophia. You're used to, some of the best facilities in your country. You're sitting inside.
We are not in the best facility in our country.
You're sitting in a bomb shelter right now. You're sitting in a bomb shelter. Can you show it to us a little bit?
No, it's prohibited to do that.
Okay.
But we are not in the best facilities.
Okay,
As an
I understand.
opposition party, unfortunately, we were not informed about the possibilities to save ourselves. So we organized everything by ourselves, and we are together here with the soldiers of the territorial defense forces. So, those who were volunteers who signed contract yesterday, and now they are both having this shelter with us, with the members of parliament, and at the same time, we also have weapons to protect Kyiv together with them.
So you're saying that you're right now in a bomb shelter with territorial defense soldiers, other civilians. I know you can't show it to me. I totally understand that it's a sensitive time. Can you describe what is around you? You have people around you inside this shelter. Is there anything you can tell us about what's happening inside? We just want to understand what you're going through.
I would say that's a bit cold, a bit dark, waiting any moment for possible air attack. A few minutes ago, we heard the sounds of heavy bombing. I hope this is Ukrainian anti-aircraft system was working as it was working during this night. There are hundreds of men and women who signed contracts yesterday. Everyone has a weapon and everyone is ready to protect Kyiv. We should understand that Moscow Federation was planning its immediate war against Ukraine, not to ruin the civilian infrastructure, but to take over Kyiv and to put on its puppet regime. Moscow Federation demands 6 things Ukrainians, regardless of the language they speak, regardless of the region, do not agree with. The first is the total neutral status. But we were neutral when Moscow Federation attacked us. So nowadays, more than 62% of Ukrainians wants to be a part of North Atlantic Treaty Organization. That means NATO.
Yeah.
Moscow Federation wants total demilitarization. But we know the moment we gave up our...
Okay, Sophia, yeah, go ahead. Sophia, we lost you for a moment. I think the signal is broken just a little bit. Yeah, you can continue. Yes, go ahead.
Do you hear me?
Yes,
Because me and the majority of my colleagues from the parliament are on the death list from Moscow Federation. So we need weapons to protect our lives and our country. They want us to recognize their annexation of Crimea, but Ukrainians will never say that Crimea is Russia. Ukrainians say that Crimea is Ukraine and it belongs to Crimean Tatar nation. That's the only nation that has the right to live on that peninsula, and that is their native land. They want us to recognize fake republics, Donetsk and Luhansk republics that recently proclaimed were by Moscow Federation. But Donetsk and Luhansk are the regions of Ukraine. But furthermore, there are 2 things they demand of us, and that is that's really impossible. The first, they demand us to renew the status of Russian language in Ukraine, but official language is Ukrainian. And during this war, Ukrainians understood that speaking Ukrainian language is a question of security, because there where we have Russian language, the Russian troops are coming. And the last but not less important is the question of Ukrainian independent church. In 2018, we got rid of Moscow Church in Ukraine. because Moscow Church is the kind of KGB. It's like a part of totalitarian Putin system. And Ukrainians finally got their own independent Christian church. So Moscow demands us to get rid of it and return to Moscovian faith. And Ukrainians will never agree to that. So we are going to fight. And I would say that everyone is keeping silence. Everyone is calm. There is no panic, but everyone is ready.
I want to ask you one more thing, Sophia, because, you know, there are images that have been coming in non-stop from different parts of your country. Kyiv, you've seen the images of your air defense engaging and reportedly shooting down a Russian aircraft. There are images now that are coming in from Odessa of Russian tanks on the streets of Odessa. They've taken over certain facilities there as well. Through your networks, can you tell us what you're hearing? Because yesterday, Russia had said it's not an invasion.
Odessa is fake. Odessa is fake. It's Moscow propaganda. Odessa is under Ukrainian control.
Okay.
And I just recently, a few minutes ago, I spoke with a member of parliament from Odessa, and he is keeping control over the situation. So yes, they are trying to take over several villages in Odessa region.
Right.
But Odessa is Ukrainian.
So are you saying that these images of these tanks, these are Ukrainian tanks in Odessa then?
I cannot comment, but because I do not see any images right now, I cannot find the information.
Okay.
So I do not see your screen. I just see
understand
Zoom.
that. I understand that. One last question, because I know you need to go. You're in a bomb shelter. You're with other people. One last question. You were talking about the air defense, the aircraft that was shot down in Kyiv. We've seen the images of that, the night sky turned orange, with that firing that took place, that building on fire. And we've also seen the impact, the destruction and devastation that has been caused by that. What are you hearing about that? Have there been any casualties, loss of life inside Kyiv, Sophia? Because this looks really bad. The image of the destruction makes it look like Syria or Iraq, not the Kyiv that we know.
I cannot tell you for 100%, of course, casualties there are, but the casualties might have been much bigger if the aircraft starts to bomb shell the whole city.
Yeah.
So we know that if there was an air alarm, many people had the chance to hide themselves in safe places. And so we are still trying to count out what is the result. But unfortunately, I'm not able to give the definite data right now.
Sophia, please stay well, my friend. Take care of yourself. We will keep coming back to you. Solidarity with you and all people suffering at this point of time. On India Today, I promise you that we will try and separate fact from fiction. I know that during war, there's a lot of disinformation and fake news. We will do our best to do that. Sometimes we may put something on air that is, part of propaganda. But as soon as we know about it, we will put the context for our viewers, because this is too serious an issue for anything that's half-baked. Stay safe, Sophia. We will keep coming back to you. Thank you for being with me and giving us your time from that bomb shelter.